Welcome to the Drive Home Show. Everybody, let's get ready to drive home. Come on. Come on, we're gonna drive home. You wanna come with us? It is 4:04, and once again, we're starting fairly early, 37 degrees. Anything above freezing we'll take at this point. We gotta melt this ice down, we gotta melt this snow. We got a lot of snow cover still around, and we got a lot of goose pushes. A lot of goose pushes on the walk from the door to the car. I don't know what's with all these goose pushes, but there's a lot of them, and it's like walking through a minefield. Don't step on the goose pushes. Don't step on the goose pushes. It's I already said it was 4:04. Now it's 4:05. We still got to look past the snowbank of death. It is getting a little bit lower, but you still can't quite see down the street as you approach it. The entrance or the exit, whichever way you want to look at it. If it's an entrance, if you're coming in, it's an exit if you're going out. It's 45 miles per hour is the speed limit on the Muhlenberg Drive. We're on Muhlenberg Drive. Bim, bam, boom. We got to stop here at Tamarack. What is this? Tamarack Hills? Tamarack Hills. It's not Tamarack Road. That is the next street up ahead. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Not really, but some things we could talk about. First thing I just want to cover before we even get started. I was listening to the drive home shows when we were driving from Chicago, and there was one of the episodes I was talking about the 2006 Minnesota Twins team and how they were champions. I mean, they were good players and bonded together and all that, blah, blah, blah. But I was rattling off some of the players, and there's this Justin Morneau. Everybody knows Justin Morneau. There's Joe Mauer. Everybody knows Joe Mauer. There's Torrey Hunter in center field. Everybody knows Torrey Hunter in center field. There's Mike Kadire in right field. Everybody knows Mike Kadire. But then I was like, I couldn't think of the other players. What? How are you going to talk about a team and you can't even list off the players from the top of your head? Well, anyway, I went and looked up that roster. So let me just fill you in. If you're a regular listener of this show, you've probably been bothered by the not knowing of the rest of the roster. You've probably just been not completely able to function until you got that resolved. Well, we're going to resolve that for you today. There were lots of players on that roster. 2006 was a long season, folks. 2006 was a long season. Okay, so I'm not even sure who the main starters were. I'm not even sure. I got to merge onto this 494. We got like a conglomeration of cars trying to go to Wisconsin. Well, I'm not trying to go to Wisconsin. So, okay, we're merged on now. We're fully merged. All right, let's just... Luis Castillo was the second baseman, probably for to be the number one guy. I don't know if they picked him up midway or anything like that, but that's who the second baseman was, Luis Castillo. And I think maybe also we had Alexi Casilla, perhaps. Shortstop Jason Bartlett. Jason Bartlett was the shortstop for part of the year. I think he played in 99 games. I don't know if he was still with the team at the end, because he later went on to Tampa Bay and became a real super great hitter or something like that. I don't know, but he was on the roster. Also, we had Nick Punto was listed at third base, but we also had Tony Bautista. I remember him. He was number 77. I think he hit a grand slam once. He had that real crazy batting stance, a wide open stance. He was probably a big player, but he did not do that much for the Twins other than hitting 7 home runs or something. I don't think he finished the season with the Twins. We had Shannon Stewart, but I don't know if he was hurt or what, but he didn't play a whole lot of games. We had Rondell White as the DH. You might remember Rondell White tripping on the dugout steps and being out for 8 months. Yeah, that's the Rondell White. So he didn't do a whole lot for the Twins there. We had let's see, there was I'm forgetting his name. It was a third baseman type player that was kind of in his latter years. But anyway, Lou Ford was key. I think there were some injuries in the outfield that year, and Lou Ford stepped in and did an admirable job. Jason Kubel was one also. He played some outfield, played some DH. And then there's Jason Tyner. He also got some playing time. So everyone contributed for the team. And our pitching staff was, I mentioned it before, it was Johan Santana, Francisco Liriano, Carlos Silva, Brad Radke, and Scott Baker. That's an admirable starting five there. So yeah, that's pretty much the notables from the 2006 roster. 2006 roster. We got expired tabs here on this Honda CR-V right next to me. Yellow stickers. Well, we're in 2018. Every car should at least have a blue sticker. I have a white sticker. So yellow stickers are definitely expired tabs. All right, now it's 4:12, everybody. It's 37 degrees. We are flying home on the drive home show. We are just flying. We're coming up to the Pine Springs / Matamidi Bend. We're not quite there yet. I think we are about 1.5 miles away from it. But I'm just wanting to let you know basically where our whereabouts there are. So if you're envisioning this, you can kind of picture it in your brain. If you don't know where 694 is and 36, you can go look it up on a map, or MapQuest it, or Quest Map it, or Google Map it, or Map Google it, or one of those. Okay, so what else could we talk about today? We watched cable TV, live cable TV, at work today. The reason was because the Twins were starting, and I was like, this new guy that we got, Lance Lynn, was pitching, and I just wanted to check him out, see how he was doing. I logged onto the Xfinity site to see if they were broadcasting the game, and they were not. Okay, I must have missed the Pine Springs sign. We're on that curve right now. We're on the Pine Springs Matamidi curve. I didn't see the Pine Springs sign. I was trying to look for it, but I just lost. My attention got redirected just momentarily, and I couldn't see it. But I do see the Matamidi sign with a population of 76 trombones at the big parade with 10 corn, that's right, be close behind. There was more than a double boiler, and the Wells Fargo wagon is coming soon. Yeah. Those are songs we sang in 4th grade music class at Edgerton Elementary School. This new guy, Lance Lynn, that we got, I wanted to check him out, so I logged into Xfinity.com to see if they were broadcasting the spring training game on the Twins today, but they weren't. And then I saw that Alice was on. Alice was on one of those. It's not MeTV. It's one of those channels that shows like old shows. It's not MeTV. It's the other one. I can't remember what it is. It's the one that shows like the Johnny Carson episodes and whatnot. So I'm like, oh, I'll watch this Alice episode. But I clicked on it, and it said you can only get this from your in-home Wi-Fi. I'm like, what? When did they come up with this crap? So I ended up going and watching Hoarding, Buried Alive, and I regret it to this day. All these messy, sloppy people. Okay, I can understand the cluttery guys. And then, I like to watch it to see them clean it up and see what it looks like all nice and clean. And it also helps me to want to clean my house and be neat and orderly and all that rubbish. But this one, they were like, this lady had 2 dogs, and she's letting her dogs crap all over the house, and she didn't even pick it up. Are you kidding me? That is nasty. They're just crapping all over, and it stinks, and she just is living in that crap. I almost used an expletive, and I don't swear. It's just ridiculous. Then the other one, the next show that came on, this lady had like pretty bird, pet birds, and she had like dead rats, decomposing rat bodies in her house. That just makes me sick. There's one thing that when you just have clutter, too much clutter, and you whatever, but there's another thing when it's trash and junk and poop and dead rats. That's disgusting. 4:17 on the drive home clock. Still 37 degrees. So yeah, I watched a couple of those. Then I watched, after that came my 600-pound life. And so I just kind of had it playing. Let me yawn for a second here. Exit ramp. Crash on exit ramp to 35 east south on the right shoulder. Well, I don't go 35 east south, so I should not be affected by that. But there's not a ramp, is there? There's no ramp. Is there a ramp? I didn't think there was a ramp. We'll see. We'll just keep our eyes peeled for any kind of slowage. Here's another thing. When I was driving down to Indiana for the parent council meetings and to see Paula and everything, I noticed like all these trucks they came up with these crazy names. Like right now I'm sitting behind a truck. It's like Copeland Trucking, driving value and integrity. And right next to that is Priority Courier Experts. Every time you call us, we deliver. But then there was like on the road, there were like all these crazy trucking company names. Like there was one, Cargo Transporters. Hire us, we're Cargo Transporters. And then there was like TransX, Transamerica. They all have like transporter or trans or there's a lot of that. Then I just noticed that. I was going to try to do a bit on that, but I couldn't remember all those names, all those crazy trucking names. Oh, there, I see the cars. It's off on the shoulder. It's just a couple of tow trucks. It's not on the ramp. It's not a ramp. Okay, 419. We are flying along. We are going into the old construction zone alleyway now. It is no longer a construction zone, so we shall just fly through here. What else can we talk about? Huh? We could talk about coffee or dogs. No big whoop. Coffee tables. I was also thinking today about like Twins pitchers that we've recently signed who have been just crap. We just signed Lance Lynn. I don't know what era of time you are listening to this, but if you're like 1967 or something, then you probably didn't know that we signed Lance Lynn. We've already signed. We traded for Jake Odorizzi, and we earlier signed Michael Pineda, but he's on the injured. He's on the injured list. He's had Tommy John surgery or something. So he can't pitch this year, but we've got him signed for, like, I guess next year. I don't know what they're trying to do. So I was talking to my brother Steve about, on the text messaging. We were talking about this new sign of Lance Lynn, and my dad said he's not very good. And my brother said, well, I wonder if our dad took into consideration that he had Tommy John surgery in the first year. Coming back off of Tommy John surgery is not really usually your good one, and then the following years when you're back to normal. So he was trying to say now he's going to be good. And I said, well, yeah, I just hope he's better than some of these other guys that we signed, like Fancy Warlock. No, actually we traded Denard Span and Ben Revere to get these guys. Okay, it's freeway time to Highway 35 W. 3 minutes, and it is 4:22 right now, so we should be hitting 435W at 4:25. 4:25 is our goal time. I'll let you know when we get there. So yeah, we actually traded for Vance Worley. There was Alex Meyer that we got for Denard Span. We traded Alex Meyer to get somebody, but then there was Ricky Nolasco that we signed, free agent, or we traded. I'm not sure. There's Kevin Correa. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting some good pitchers now. And none of them really panned out. But in their defense, we had a solid starting five. I'm not sure of the years, around 2010, 2011. We had Nick Blackburn. Our five starters were Nick Blackburn, Francisco Liriano, Scott Baker, Kevin Slowey, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4. We had six actually. Kevin Slowey was kind of like the odd man out. So there's Nick Blackburn, Scott Baker, Francisco Liriano, slowy, and then one more. And I'm like, these are also good solid starters, but they all sucked. And then we ended up getting this like Scott Diamond. It was like the only pitcher that did well. He was like 12-9. He was our best pitcher that year. So then, like Nick Blackburn was gone, out of baseball. I'm moving my lane. I'm changing over to the right lane here. We're a half a mile away from 35W, and we're sitting at 424. Now this Copeland trucking truck just put his brakes on as I got behind him. He was flying. Now he's slowing way down like a moron. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're slowing way down to 40. What's going on? We could still make the 3 minutes, but we were slowing way down here, folks. Everybody's slowing down both lanes. We're still at 424, and we are so close to 35W. We are just so close. I mean, we got it in 2 minutes, so we're so close, folks. Oh, if we were any closer, we'd be past it. 425. It just changed to 425. Not quite over 35W yet. But we're gonna make the 3 minutes. We're gonna make that. Oh crap! Hang on, folks. I'm moving into the right lane. His middle lane is way backed up. I'm gonna get off on Long Lake, I guess. I don't have to go to the store, but this is so slow that there's no reason to stay on it. There's no reason to stay on it. Okay, so where did we leave off talking about? Scott Diamond was our best pitcher. He's 12-9, and yeah, Blackburn's gone, Baker's gone, was injured or something. Liriano was traded. So then we traded for Vance Worley, Kevin Correa signed Ricky Nolasco and all that. Like, these guys are gonna be good pitchers, and they actually were really bad. Then there was another guy, Jason Marquis. I was trying to think of his name earlier today. Trying to think. Could not remember. I finally just popped in my head. Jason Marquis from San Diego. It seemed like every time we got a pitcher from the National League, they were just awful for the Twins. Vance Worley comes from the Philadelphia Phillies. Jason Marquis came from San Diego Padres. Kevin Correa came from the Dodgers of Los Angeles. Who else did we get? Ricky Nolasco came from like Marlins. And they all were just putrid. Not really. I just wanted to say that word. They were mediocre. Jason Marquis was horrible. I think he was 0-5, and then we got rid of him. Then he signed with somebody else and had a pretty decent year for them. I'm getting off on Long Lake Road because just freeway is slow. It's probably not too bad, but I just didn't want to deal with it. We're not going 65. Is what we should be going on this freeway, so I'm just getting off and get out of my way. Get the freak. The stupid car to my left is blocking my view to see if the oncoming traffic is coming. I'm just gonna go. I'm trying to turn left, and I'm just gonna block your view. 428. My voice is cracking, and I don't know why. I have a kind of a deep voice today. What else can we talk about, folks? What else can we talk about? Now it's 38 degrees. It feels warm when the sun is out. You know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of salt. I got a bunch of salt yesterday from the grocery store. Apparently, here's what happened. In the most recent stuff, snow. It kind of snowed, and as the cars drove on this driveway, kind of compacted the snow down into an ice type of surface. And on Jerry's side of the driveway there, he'd park his car, and then in the morning the car would be slid down to the end of the driveway because it's on ice and it's a slight incline, so the car would just slide down the driveway. Basically, it wouldn't go out into the street, but it would go to the end of the driveway and kind of stick out a little bit. And then when we went to Indiana, for this parent council thing. We come back home, and he's in my spot on the driveway. He's parked in my spot, and then I got to park in his spot, and then I start sliding down the driveway. And so what I did there is I went and got a bunch of salt. I got a bunch of salt, and I just salted it. I just put salt all over the ice, and so that it would melt. Okay, are they going on Rice Creek? Yeah, but I don't need to go to no store, so I'm just gonna stay. I'm just gonna stay on this Long Lake Road here, and I'm just gonna go on ahead, and I'm gonna go to Mississippi, because that's the street that I want to be on. I could have gone on Rice Creek, but that would be something that you would do if you was going to the store. I could go to the store. I don't really need to go to the store. I've got the dinner stuff for tonight. It's gonna be this Tuna Helper, but I'm not using tuna. I'm not even using the tuna. I'm using chicken. I'm gonna put chicken in the Tuna Helper. Huh? Talk about rebelliousness, huh? So yeah, I got a bunch of ice melt salt, and I salted all over the ice, and so I'm gonna see what it looked like today, combined with the fact that the sun is shining. But you know, the sun is still not quite hitting the right in front of the house, because we still got a low trajectory sun. It's still March. It's not up as high in the sky as it's gonna be in June, and it's still not quite warm enough to like just melt. The sun really melts the snow, and ice, but it's not really hitting that part of the driveway. So I went and got that, and I just trying to deal with that. Maybe I might just get the shovel and try to break up the ice, because there's a pile like where the ice and snow melts on the roof. It drips down. Whoa! It drips down. I said whoa because there's a car, a Lexus in front of me turning left, and he's going quite slow, and there was a car coming the opposite direction. So basically, he felt like he had all the time in the world, and this car was coming pretty hot, and almost collided. I don't think that Lexus realized he had to yield to the right of way. To the right of way. It's 4:33, boys. 4:33. Yeah. I was gonna say something else and I forgot. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I haven't done sound effects. I think the sound effects maybe it might just be done. The only time we're gonna do sound effects if we start doing a video, making a video on Drive Home Show again. But $2.49 is the price of gas these days. Here's something I can tell you. When we were driving to Indiana, okay, somewhere's in Indiana, like all of a sudden the gas prices was just like $2.60. And I kind of made a mental note of gas prices as we drove around. You know, we stopped in Menominee, and it was like $2.40, $2.30 something. And then in southern Indiana, it was in the 260s. And I'm like, what? Then as we got north, it was down in 230s, like, you know, over near Valparaiso and all that. So in southern Indiana, it was like 260, but then in northern Indiana, it was like 230. Then we get to Chicago. And I kid you not, I did not take a picture of it, but I kid you not, the gas was $3.79 in Chicago. You have got to be out your mind. $3.79 when it's like $2.30, just a few miles away in Indiana. I'd probably drive to Indiana just to get gas. Drive to Indiana just to get gas. It doesn't matter if it's here. So it's $2.49 is the price of gas around here. went to a gas station, you know, near where my Aunt Ruth Ann lives and my dad is staying. And I pushed the, you know, pulled the nozzle out, and then they're like, beep, beep. You know, you're supposed to make a selection on the octane, and the hose kind of whipped around and pressed the button for me after I already inserted my credit card, and then it was like select an octane or whatever, and then the hose kind of whipped as I was trying to insert it into gas tank, and it selected like the 92 octane or whatever, so it was like 305 a gallon. And I'm like, oh dang it! But the only solution was to put the hose back, cancel the transaction, start over again by taking my credit card out, inserting it, and all that. I just did not want to deal with that. So I bought gas at 305 a gallon, but it was good octane. That stretch of road, we really made some good gas mileage. I don't know, it's 37 degrees. It's 4:37. We're just about home. All we are doing is waiting for the University Avenue light to turn green, and it just turned green. It just turned green, so we're home at 4:37. Thanks for listening to the Drive Home Show, and I'm just about out of material. I'm gonna go check on Tori, see how he's doing. Yesterday he kind of kicked out all the newspaper out of his cage. I'd say half of the newspaper he kicked out of his cage, and then his paws were kind of bloody. He kind of had dried blood on his paws from scratching, scrimping and saving and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully he did better today. Oh, Paulita is home, so he's already out of the cage, so we're good. We're good. All right, thanks for listening. Keep your feet in the ground, keep reaching for those stars, and don't forget to drive home safe.